You're scrolling through social media when you see your college roommate posting from a rooftop bar in Miami. Your coworker just bought a new Tesla. Your neighbor is renovating their kitchen, again. Meanwhile, you're sitting at home, eating leftover pasta, and double-checking your bank account before buying groceries. How is everyone affording all of this? Are they secretly rich, or is there something else going on that nobody's talking about? Well, here's the truth. Most of what you're seeing isn't as real as you think. Stick around because today we're going to reveal the hidden truth behind what you're seeing on social media and why you're probably doing better than you think when it comes to your finances. Chapter 1. The Mirage of Suburbia. What those homes really represent. Walk through any suburban neighborhood and you'll see the picture-perfect American dream. Massive 3,000 square foot homes with manicured lawns, luxury SUVs parked in the driveway, Ring doorbells, and solar panels on the roof. Everything screams success. But let me tell you what those houses actually represent: financial quicksand. In the United States, the median home price is hovering around $400,000. Now let's say you're buying a conventional home with a 20% down payment. That's an $80,000 upfront cost. But here's the reality. Most people don't have $80,000 saved up, so they're putting down as little as 3 to 5%, meaning they're financing the entire home purchase. Let's do the math. With a $400,000 mortgage at 7% interest, your monthly payment is roughly $2,600, and that's just the mortgage. Add property taxes, insurance, and HOA fees, and now you're looking at over $3,000 a month. For someone making the median full-time salary of $60,000 a year, that's 60% of their gross pay just going toward housing. The rule of thumb says that no more than 30% of your income should go toward housing, yet here it's over 60%. That's not wealth, that's being house poor. And it's not just the house that's part of the illusion. Let's talk about what's parked in the driveway. Chapter 2. The Car Lie. How Cars Fuel Financial Illusions. Let's talk about cars, because they might just be the biggest financial lie detector out there. A new car says, "I've made it." It's the symbol of success, right? But in reality, cars can trap you into a cycle of financial stress. In 2025, the average new car payment in the United States is over $730 per month. For trucks and SUVs, which dominate American roads, it can easily top $1,000, and that's just the monthly payment. Most people are now financing their vehicles for 72 months, and some even stretch it to 84 months, 7 years of payments on a depreciating asset. You're paying off something that loses value the minute you drive it off the lot. Let's run the numbers for a $50,000 SUV. At 7% interest over 6 years, that's over $900 per month for the loan alone. But we haven't even touched insurance, gas, or maintenance. New car insurance averages around $200 a month, and commuting can easily run you another $200 in gas. Throw in maintenance, and suddenly you're at $1,300 a month just to own and operate that vehicle. For someone making $60,000 a year, that's more than 25% of your gross income. And if you're still thinking about that mortgage from the previous chapter, now you're looking at over $4,300 a month just in housing and transportation. That's already more than you make. But here's the kicker. This isn't even the full picture. We haven't even talked about food, utilities, and the 17 streaming services you probably have. The lifestyle you see on Instagram isn't necessarily people living it, it's them financing it while living on the edge financially. Chapter 3. The Net Worth Illusion. What are people really worth? Let's take a step back and talk about net worth, because this is where things get really interesting. If you're comparing your bank account to someone's Instagram feed, it's easy to think they're crushing it financially. But when you dig into the numbers, the truth is often very different. According to data from the Federal Reserve, most people's net worth is much lower than you might expect.
For people under 35, the median net worth in the U.S. is around $39,000, and that's including everything: home equity, retirement accounts, and savings. Essentially, most people in this age group have next to nothing saved up. The picture gets slightly better as people age. For those between 35 and 44, the median net worth jumps to about $135,000, but again, a large portion of that is tied up in home equity, which is not liquid, meaning it's money you can't access unless you sell the house or take on more debt. When we look at liquid net worth, actual cash or investments that people can use, the numbers are a lot smaller. Even in the 45 to 54 age group, the median net worth is only around $247,000, which is significantly lower than what you might expect for people in their peak earning years. It's shocking, right? What this means is the Instagram influencer lifestyle you're comparing yourself to, the luxury cars, the exotic vacations, the fancy dinners, is often built on leverage or debt and not real wealth. People may look wealthy on the outside, but if you really understood their financial situation, you'd see a lot of debt and mortgages behind the curtain.
Chapter 4. The Invisible Income Effect. The Secret Behind the Facade. Now, let's talk about the invisible income effect, a concept that explains a lot of what we see on social media and in our communities. It's easy to look at someone's new BMW or their beach vacation photos and think, how are they doing this? What am I missing? Well, here's the thing. You might be missing a key piece of their story. 1/3 of adults aged 18 to 34 are living with their parents, and that's not a small number. Living with parents can eliminate major expenses like rent, groceries, and utilities, which frees up cash flow to spend on luxury items and experiences. So if you're making $45,000 a year and living at home, you might have $2,500 a month in disposable income. You could afford a luxury car, go on trips, and dress in designer clothes. But someone else, like a person making $70,000, might be paying rent, covering their own utilities, and living paycheck to paycheck with far less discretionary spending. The difference? One person has virtually no expenses on the basics, and the other person is shouldering those costs alone. This isn't meant to criticize multi-generational living. It makes a lot of financial sense and happens in many cultures, but it distorts our perception of what's achievable when we compare ourselves to others. We see the surface-level luxury, but not the real support structures behind it. And it doesn't stop there. There's also financial assistance that many people are receiving from their parents without ever mentioning it online. A 2024 survey found that 50% of parents regularly provide financial assistance to their adult children, an average of $1,500 a month. This could be for things like rent, car payments, insurance, groceries, and phone bills. But of course, this doesn't show up on their Instagram feeds. They'll show you the vacation photos, but you'll never know that mom and dad are subsidizing the lifestyle. So, next time you feel like you're falling behind, take a step back. You're probably doing better than you think. You just might be comparing your real financial situation to someone else's curated image.
Chapter 5. The Truth About Investing and Wealth. What You Aren't Told. Now, let's dive into investing, because this is another area where perception and reality don't always match up. You walk into any corporate office and overhear people talking about their portfolios, their retirement accounts, and the stock market. It creates the illusion that everyone is investing and that everyone is building wealth through compound interest. But the reality? Only 62% of U.S. adults own any stock at all. That's 38% who have zero exposure to the stock market. None. No retirement account, no brokerage, no index funds. And for the 62% who do invest, many have relatively small amounts. In fact, the median retirement account balance for people in their 30s is under $50,000. This isn't nothing, but it's also far from the diversified portfolio and aggressive wealth-building strategy that people often talk about. So what's going on? Selection bias. The people talking about investing are those who already invest, while those who don't remain silent. And when you're in environments where everyone seems to be crushing it financially, it can feel isolating when statistically most people are just trying to stay afloat. Even among higher earners, the data is sobering. A study found that nearly 1 in 4 people earning over $100,000 a year still live paycheck to paycheck. That's right, $100,000 a year, yet no savings, no emergency fund, and no financial security. How is that possible? The answer is simple. Income and wealth are not the same thing. You can make a 6-figure salary and still be broke because your expenses scale with your income. This is the trap many people fall into. The more you earn, the more you spend, and over time, the only thing that grows is your monthly bills. This is where things get interesting. Social comparison theory. It's human nature to evaluate our success by comparing ourselves to others. We've been doing it for centuries. But today, with social media and the internet, our comparison group has exploded. You're now comparing your income, lifestyle, and progress not just with your neighbors or coworkers, but with people in different tax brackets, in different countries, or at different stages of life. The result? You're playing a game with no clear rules, and it feels like everyone else is winning. But here's the catch. You don't actually know anyone else's score. All you see are their highlight reels. What's left out? Their debts, family help, or side hustles. And speaking of side hustles, around 45% of Americans have some form of side income. That extra cash from freelancing, gig work, or small businesses may not be broadcasted on social media, but it helps people live the lifestyle you're comparing yourself to. What looks like wealth is often built on extra unreported income, not on traditional salaries.
Conclusion: the real path to financial freedom, breaking free from the illusion. Now that we've unpacked the hidden realities behind what you see online and in your neighborhood, let's talk about what you can actually do with all this information. First off, stop comparing yourself to others, especially to curated images on Instagram or Facebook. It's not a fair comparison, and it's based on an illusion. People aren't sharing the full picture, and the reality is that most people are struggling or using debt to sustain a lifestyle that appears successful on the surface. So focus on your own financial journey and stop chasing someone else's dream. Second, redefine what success looks like for you. Success doesn't mean having the newest car, the biggest house, or the most exotic vacations. It means achieving financial security. For some, that might be paying off debt. For others, it might be having an emergency fund or being able to take a break from work without stressing about money. Success is personal and unique. Don't let someone else's version dictate yours. Third, celebrate the invisible wins. Paying off a credit card, hitting a savings goal, or sticking to your budget might not get you any social media likes, but these are the victories that actually matter. Real wealth is built quietly, over time, through smart choices and financial discipline. It's not glamorous and it won't give you Instagram clout, but it will give you peace of mind and long-term security. Finally, understand the value of margin. If you're consistently saving, staying out of debt, and investing what you can, you're already doing better than many people around you. The lifestyle you're seeing from others, the shiny cars, the trips, the renovations, it's not always sustainable, and it might be built on debt, family help, or simply the pressure to look successful. But in reality, wealth is not about looking successful. It's about being financially free, having options, and not stressing over money every month. So, here's what I want you to take away from this. Don't fall for the illusion of social media success. Define success on your own terms. Focus on building real wealth, even if it means looking average on the outside. Celebrate your financial wins, even if they go unnoticed by others. And don't compete with a mirage, because real wealth isn't built through appearances. It's built through discipline, patience, and smart financial decisions.
If this video helped shift your mindset and made you rethink your financial journey, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, and share it with someone who might be caught in the comparison trap. Take control of your own financial narrative, and let's start building real wealth, not just for show.